Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 161 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And here's what we're going to be talking about in today's show. In our Noteworthy segment, we're going to be talking about a new animal advocacy book by Isabella La Rocca Gonzalez. It's called Censored Landscapes.
Our main topic is what's new in vegan news. So we'll take a look at what's new in vegan news.
That's right.
But before we get into all that, here's what we've been up to.
Yeah, so yesterday.
Not yesterday.
So Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. There we go.
I never know what day it is. So Saturday we went to the Mockingbird Farms Animal Sanctuary, Fall at the Farm.
Yes.
Good time.
Oh my gosh, this really is one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah, so we tabled, we vended,
Yes.
we had a tent and everything.
Yep. But that's not why it's my favorite day of the year.
No, well, first of all, let's just start with how beautiful it was. It was such a beautiful day.
A gorgeous fall day.
It was perfect.
The temperature was perfect. It was breezy but sunny and clear blue skies. And it was just a phenomenally gorgeous day.
Yeah, and the crisp chill in the air, you know.
Love that.
Oh, it was so perfect weather-wise. There were so many great, wonderful people there. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the animals.
Yes,
yeah.
The animals. They are, of course, my favorite part of the day. And I had the honor of getting my snoot booped by my favorite cow, or I should say my favorite bull. His name is Rem.
Yeah, I think he's a steer.
A steer.
Yeah, I don't think you call them bulls if they're fixed.
Oh, okay. So anyway.
I don't know how that works, really.
He's my favorite boy cow.
He is sweet and he's huge.
He's huge and he's golden. And I heard one of the volunteers refer to him as a big golden retriever.
Yeah, it fits.
And he's sweet and social. And so I went up to the cow pen and I just said, "Hey, Rem, how you doing?" And he walked right over to me and he just touched his nose to mine. And it was the greatest moment.
It was so cute. She came running back to the booth. She's like, "I just got a snoot boop
from Rem."
From Rem. And she had like all this dirt on her nose. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. It was really cute.
It was just the greatest thing.
Yeah, it was really cute. And I also had some interaction with the animals, unlike last year where they all just kind of turned away. Like, we've had enough people. I don't know if it was just a bad time. They were resting when I went up to visit with them last year when we were there. But I went up and there was Cece was there and I'm like, "Hi, Cece." She came right over to me and I got lots of time to scritch her and hold her head and pet her and talk to her. They're so sweet. They're just amazing.
They
They're just
really
amazing.
are. I just absolutely adore them.
Yeah. I spent some time with the miniature horses and the donkeys and the pigs. They do amazing work.
Yes, they do.
There at Mockingbird Farm. It is so, and that's what it is. It is so much work, but it is definitely a labor of love for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Very clearly.
They spend all their time and all their energy just making sure that these animals are healthy and happy and living in the most idyllic situation that they can.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would say that they're succeeding at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, there was food.
Of course there was food.
There was vegan food.
There's got to be food at a Fall on the Farm.
Yeah. You want to talk about the food we had?
Sure. So we started the day with sandwiches from grass-fed.
Yeah.
No surprise there. We never sleep on grass-fed when grass-fed is available.
We do not.
And so I had their BLT.
Yeah. And
which I have had before.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good BLT.
Very, very good. It's got this nice spicy sauce on it that gives it a little kick.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Yeah. And they had like a roast beef sandwich and it had
horseradish.
It had like a vegan horseradish mayo on it. It was really good.
Awesome.
Really good.
Yeah.
So that's how we started. That was our air quote breakfast.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That was our first tasting of the day. And a couple hours later, we decided to go to Eden Cafe and Bake Shop.
They were set up right next door to Grass-Fed. So
super convenient.
Very convenient.
And we each had, for the very first time, a carrot dog.
Yeah, one of their carrot dogs. They have a whole menu of carrot dogs if you go to their restaurant there in Batavia, New York. And we had, I don't remember what the dog was called.
I don't either.
But it was delicious. It had like French fried onions on top.
And jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
And mustard.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was fabulous.
Yeah, I think Sam was surprised by how good it was.
I was. I mean, I just didn't expect a roasted carrot
They impart so much flavor.
to be that special.
Yeah. Like they have those like hot, they look like coolers, but they're for keeping things hot. And anytime they would lift the lid off of that thing, this wonderful aroma would waft out.
Oh, cool.
And it smelled so good. I'm like, this is going to be so good.
Yeah, and it really was. So this was my first taste of a carrot dog.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I would definitely consider the next time we go to Eden, on our way somewhere, they do like a flight of carrot dogs.
Yeah, that would
and
be
they
fun.
have all kinds of different toppings that you can try with the carrot dogs. But
Yeah.
I was really kind of bowled over by how good it was.
They were delicious. And I got yours with a side of a broccoli salad.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was a really simple cold broccoli salad. Had kind of a slaw type, so like a mayo, a vegan mayo based dressing on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought it would be. Yeah.
It was very simple, but very, very tasty.
Yeah, my mother used to make this wonderful broccoli slaw with carrots and stuff. I used to love it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so that was that. And then lots of really great people came to visit us at our booth. And if you came to our booth, thank you so much for coming by the booth.
Yes.
Whether you purchased something from us or not.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We love you.
We had some great conversations with people coming to our booth. We had some great conversations with some of the volunteers there at Mockingbird, particularly Dorothy.
Dorothy, we love you.
Who was set up next to us because they were doing like a rummage sale to benefit Mockingbird. And so they were set up right next to us. And at one point I went over there and bought Sam a blanket because she was cold.
I was cold. You know, when we got there in the morning, it was kind of chilly, but we were doing so much work with setup.
Yeah.
When I do physical work, I sweat. And then if it's a chilly day and I'm cooling down, I start to feel cold.
Then you get cold.
Yeah, I get cold. So
and that's not good.
No. And so Christine went to the rummage sale and bought me a blanket. And so
I did a really nice blanket for $5.
Yeah. And so I spent the rest of the day curled up under my blanket. The only thing I needed seriously was a campfire.
Yeah, she's like, if I could just have a campfire, this would be perfect.
Because really, it was just so incredibly idyllic. Like you're looking over this beautiful farm on this gorgeous day, kids running around in a pumpkin patch.
I know. It was so wholesome.
It was just amazing.
It was like the most wholesome scene you could imagine.
It was fantastic.
So then, we waited a couple hours. We were waiting a couple hours between food items.
Yes. Yes. Essential.
Yeah. And then, I went over to see Allie at Spirited Abundance from Rochester.
That's right.
She's a vegan cheesemaker and chef and baker. And I bought 2 of her apple fritters.
Yes.
Let me tell you, these apple fritters, they were like little pillows of joy.
They were.
Apple flavored pillows of joy.
They were absolutely heavenly. And like in the very, very first bite that I took, I just kind of got that sock you in the face apple right away. So beautiful apple cinnamon flavor. Like, yes, the glaze was sweet, but not too sweet. The texture was absolutely perfect.
Like I said, they were so pillowy. You know how sometimes if you go to like a donut shop or whatever and you get a fritter, sometimes they're heavy.
Heavy and greasy.
Yeah.
These were not.
And look, I don't mind that either. They're good with coffee. But these were like so light and airy and they were just exquisite.
They were perfect.
Yeah.
When we were kids, my brother had a big thing for apple fritters.
Yeah, I love fritters.
And
they're so good.
he would have loved these.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal.
They were really good.
Yes.
And perfect for a fall day.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yes.
I brought a thermos of coffee and it was just perfect. Couldn't have asked for a better day.
Yeah.
And then so we waited a little while longer and I walked over to Sunshine Vegan Eats from Buffalo was there.
Yes.
Nikki from Sunshine Vegan Eats.
Gotta love that.
And her crew, she had this extensive menu of foods.
It always amazes me
Yeah.
when we go to an event, whether it's a veg fest or it's a fundraiser like this, and Nikki and her crew are there. Just the sheer volume
Oh yeah,
they produce is
Yeah.
just incredible to
Yeah,
me.
and I don't know if it's because she does catering also that doesn't seem to faze her.
Right.
That I have to make enough food for, hundreds of people.
Yeah. It's like it's not a thing.
Yeah, she doesn't seem stressed at all. And neither does her crew. They all seem very, laissez-faire.
Very
about
chill and very smiley
Yeah.
and happy, and every now and again one will come up. Like, they definitely get breaks during
Yeah.
the day where they wander.
No, sure.
I mean, actually later in the day when I went back to Eden to pick up some of their lovely baked goods to bring home with us, Nikki was standing right beside me, and it was just, she was like, "This is great. I actually got a chance to, step away from the booth and go visit everybody else."
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. It's always wonderful. Nikki is so good about supporting other vendors.
She is.
at
And,
events.
we try to do that also. We hope, but sometimes it's really busy and you can barely get away.
Right.
So I love events like this where you have little lulls here and there where one of us can, I don't feel bad about leaving you and you don't feel bad about leaving me. So you can wander around and support the other vendors. Our friend Jill and her daughter Corinne were there, and they were selling jewelry that they made, handmade jewelry and stuff. And also they were doing that blind book sale.
That is
Where
so cool.
Yeah, you wrap up the book in brown paper and you just put a little hint on the outside of like maybe it's a mystery or something like that.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah, it's a fun idea.
That's great.
There were several other vendors there vending like art stuff and drawings and craft items
And M&M's books were there.
M&M's books.
And they were also doing the kind of gift-wrapped book.
Yeah, there was no shortage of books if you wanted to buy books, if you were big into books. And you could even go to the rummage sale. They had books there too.
Yeah.
So, there were lots of great vendors and live music. There was a band playing throughout the day. And it was just a fantastic day. And I just want to thank everybody, Janelle, John, Ryan, everybody there at Mockingbird, all the people that volunteer for Mockingbird Farms, for inviting us and for putting on a spectacular event. And every year it gets bigger and better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to next year.
That's right. You can count us in for next year.
Put us down. Put us down. So that was our Saturday.
It was.
And that was fabulous. And if you weren't there, I'm sorry you missed it because it was a good time. And then yesterday, we went to my sister's to have a pizza party, a pizza making party in honor of the passing of my mother, because the anniversary of her death was this past week.
Yep.
And so we decided to, get together and cook together and make some pizza and sit around. I brought a bunch of old photo albums for people to look through. And so that was a fun day.
It was. It was really great.
Yeah.
I had a particularly good time sifting through the school photos of our nephew.
Oh, yeah.
Trey.
Yeah, Sam was putting them in
In chronological order. Yes, because of course, they had an 8x10 of every school photo from the time he was 5 to the time he was a senior in high school.
He was the only grandchild.
That's right.
For them, so.
Yeah.
For my parents, so.
Yeah, so it was just awesome.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, I took them over to Trey's wife, Savannah, and said, and here we are, the chronology of Trey Soto.
That was pretty funny.
And it was very cute.
Yeah.
So, we went from his cute little cherub years to like his Harry Potter years to, oh my gosh, he got braces. Trey doesn't smile anymore.
Yeah. To his, I don't smile anymore, to the year the braces came off and my sister told him, you better smile in your picture because we paid a lot of money for that smile. And he has a beautiful smile now.
He does. Yep, he really does.
Yeah. So that was really good. We made vegan pizzas and it was just so much fun. And it's always good to spend time with the family.
Always.
Yeah. We don't have a recipe this week because we've just been too darned busy.
Yeah, we've just been off doing stuff.
So I guess we could just jump into our Noteworthy segment. Like I said, this week we're going to be talking about a book from Isabella La Rocca Gonzalez. It's called Censored Landscapes, The Hidden Reality of Farming Animals. Do you want to tell a little bit about Isabella?
I would love to.
I have her bio here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Isabella is an artist, writer, and activist working primarily with photography. Her work is part of a long tradition in art and photography to bring to light and find beauty in the hidden, unconscious, or disregarded. As the daughter of immigrants from Mexico and Italy, respectively, she strives to reconcile values from her indigenous roots with her European heritage. Her art practice is also inextricably linked with her ecofeminist total liberation activism. She's received a number of awards for her work, including the Ferguson Grant from the Friends of Photography in San Francisco, California, for excellence and commitment to the field of photography. Her photos have been exhibited throughout the United States, including a solo show at the Center for Photography in Woodstock, New York. She has taught art and photography to thousands of students in state universities, art schools, private liberal arts colleges, and community colleges. She earned her Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts from the University of Pennsylvania and an MFA in photography from Indiana University. After 21 years, she left her home in the San Francisco Bay Area to found the Photography and Moving Image program at a small liberal arts college in Kentucky, where she lives in a peaceful cabin high on a hill that looks out over a river, fields, and many trees and birds.
Well, that sounds idyllic.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, that's my birth state, Kentucky. My
It
old
certainly is.
Kentucky home.
That's right. I want a peaceful cabin high on a hill.
Right? Who doesn't?
I mean, that would be so amazing.
Yeah. And we had the good fortune of being sent a copy of Censored Landscapes by Isabella herself. She reached out to us and asked us if we would be willing to talk about the book, take a look at the book and talk about it. And I said, most definitely send it along. After she sent us a copy for review, I reached back out to her and said, look, this book is amazing. We most definitely want to be talking about your book. Censored Landscapes is a long-term photographic project that tells a story in which the main characters are innocent of any crime and yet are sentenced to imprisonment, torture, and death. It's a true story of ecological destruction, of worker exploitation, mostly people of color, and of secretive corporations protected by laws and enriched by government subsidies and lobbies. It is also a story that offers insight and healing.
The photographs in this series consist of landscapes that include sites of animal agriculture, as well as portraits of animals who have been confined in these facilities. Many of the photographs have been paired with facts, stories, essays, and poems that contextualize the images through the many facets of society impacted by the industry. Censored Landscapes will be published as a book on November 12th, 2024 by Lantern Publishing and Media and is currently available for pre-order.
And I have had the opportunity to read through some of the book. I'm not finished with it yet, but I am looking forward to finishing it. It is a very moving portrait of animal agriculture and also of animal sanctuary. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice juxtaposition of what's happening on farms.
Yeah.
And what happens when these animals are rescued and have a place to live out their lives where they don't live in fear of torture or imminent death. And she also had a number of people that contributed to the book. And one person in particular that contributed to the book contributed this poem that I wanted to read. And there is the photography, of course, in this book because Isabella is a photographer. The photography is amazing. There's this beautiful photograph of a ton of cows in what looks like a large feedlot. And behind them is a very large full moon. And it's like dusk. And I think she actually uses this photo for the cover of the book. But in the book, next to the photo, is a poem by Rosemary Ailes. She's the president of an animal advocacy organization. But I wanted to read this poem real quick. You walked to me through the hope of that silvered night, the night of a supermoon, a night that was to be my last. My world and yours touched that night, you standing in freedom, and I huddled amongst hundreds, waiting to die. Through the burnished moment, my flesh shivered, imagining you would cut through rusted metal so I could walk. as you did, bathed in the white light of a supermoon. I was 4 years old, used, milked, made pregnant, again and again. My children taken, gone. I'm worthless, spent, and ready to die. Dairy cow, they call me. But, I had another name. So you came that night. You came to call me once by my real name. Earthling, sister, creature of the stars. Waiting to die. We stood, you and I, barely touching, your world and mine, divided by iron, united by a moon, a full moon that was as close to the earth as it would ever be. My last moon, my super moon. I thought that was an amazing piece.
Oh, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And really kind of hard to get through. But I wanted to read it because it encapsulates this photo.
Perfectly.
Just brilliantly. And the photo is titled Night of the Supermoon, Dairy Farm 2014. And then below each photo, she lists how many animals perished in whatever situation. And it says 550. So this book, like I said, goes on to talk about many situations that she came across in animal farming. And then it has some really moving and touching stories of time that she spent with animals on sanctuaries. Mm-hmm. Animals that she spent time with that she was going to photograph, and then found herself putting the camera down and, just getting to know the animals on a personal level. Mm-hmm. And her stories of these interactions are really moving.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that you get yourself a copy of this book. Like I said, the photography is beautiful. The writing is excellent. And we're going to include a link in the show notes so that you can get yourself a copy of Censored Landscapes, The Hidden Reality of Farming Animals by Isabella La Rocca Gonzalez. And thank you so much, Isabella, for contacting us. Your book is incredible.
I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Sam's really looking forward to reading it, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. So thank you again for sending it along. And that brings us to our main topic. This week's main topic is what's new in vegan news. So I just have a couple of stories that we've gathered from the World Wide Web about vegan stuff, about vegan food, about vegan advocacy. And this first story comes to us from plantbasednews.org, and the title of the article is Vegan Brand Launches Casein That Makes Cheese Melt and Stretch Like Dairy.
Those vegan cowboys say its casein gives cheese better stretchiness. So for any of you who have been looking for the perfect vegan cheese, you know that one of the issues with many vegan cheeses is that its meltability and stretchability just does not match that of dairy cheese.
No, right.
Yeah, even the best vegan cheeses don't get that oozy, stretchy meltiness that you can get from, for example, dairy mozzarella on a pizza.
Right.
You just really can't find it. Those vegan cowboys think they may have cracked the code. Belgian food tech company, Those Vegan Cowboys, has launched an animal-free casein made with precision fermentation that is said to make vegan cheese stretch and melt like dairy cheese. Casein is the main protein found in milk from cows. It's a big part of what gives dairy cheese its taste, texture, and consistency when melted. Those Vegan Cowboys makes it by fermenting microbes in a stainless steel tank named Margaret, after the former British Prime Minister known as the Iron Lady.
I know.
That's hysterical.
I laughed at that segment of the article.
I love that so much.
Yes.
That's kind of genius. Okay. It plans to launch its own cheese using the casein next year, and they plan to collaborate with other companies as well. According to those vegan cowboys, its fermentation method is 5 times more efficient than cows on water and land use and greenhouse gas emissions. It says that its cow-free casein paves the way for healthier cheese, free of lactose, bad cholesterol, and saturated fats. Cheese made with its casein is reportedly 5 times more stretchy than that made with casein from cows.
That's some stretchy cheese.
That is some seriously stretchy cheese.
I wonder, I know there's more, but I wonder if this type of casein that they're developing, if it'll have the same endorphin effect that the casomorphins in dairy cheese have?
That's a really interesting question.
You know?
So will this casein make non-dairy cheese addictive?
Yeah.
Like dairy cheese.
It's an addiction I'm willing to risk.
Many plant-based dairy companies have become interested in animal-free casein as they seek to make their products more closely replicate dairy. In 2023, companies including vegan cheesemaker Climax Foods and biotech company PureChure each announced they had created vegan casein. Just last week, plant-based brand Dairy X revealed it has successfully made casein from precision fermentation. Regulatory approval is still needed for most of the new caseins to come to market. In Europe, the casein made by those vegan cowboys counts as a novel food and must go through an approval process. Vegan cheese company New Culture was the first to gain regulatory approval in February when it attained GRAS, or Generally Recognized as Safe status, from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Looking forward to seeing some of these products on the shelf once they're approved.
And I'm looking forward to a grilled cheese that stretches like a grilled cheese.
Right?
Or pizza that stretches like pizza cheese should.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Better living through science, right?
Hello.
And one thing that this article didn't mention is that there'll be no animals harmed in the process.
That's right. How beautiful is that?
Yeah. Such cool stuff going on in the world. What's next in the news?
Next, we look at the ever-pressing question, why are so many vegan restaurants closing?
Right. Doesn't it seem like every time you look on social media or on Google News or whatever, wherever you get your news, that one of your favorite vegan restaurants is struggling to stay open or they've already closed? I know that with our Vegan Restaurant SOS series, a number of the restaurants that people have reached out to us and said, this is my favorite restaurant. When I go to add them into our show outline and use them, I find a lot of them have already closed, which is very sad.
Yes.
So why is this happening?
This article is coming from Veg News and was written by Ellen Canner. Restaurants across the country are struggling, and beloved vegan institutions seem to be failing one by one. What's going on? And can they be saved? Veg News spoke with plant-based restaurateurs from across the country to find out. Nick's on Beverly, closed. Plant Food and Wine, shuttered. Flora, done. Jewel, finished. Heart House, gone. And that's just Los Angeles. Across the country, other notable vegan restaurant closings include Charlotte area favorite Fern, Flavors from the Garden, now history after 14 years in business, Portland's Blossoming Lotus, closed after 20 years in the Pacific Northwest, The Organic Grill, the East Village's pioneer vegan organic restaurant, closed shop after over 25 years in business, and Boston area's The Grasshopper went out of business after 30 years. Even the McPlant, McDonald's vegan burger option, is off the menu due to sluggish sales. The National Restaurant Association says more than 90,000 U.S. restaurants closed as a result of pandemic fallout. Not all of them were vegan, obviously, but when zooming in on the effect the last few years have had on restaurants, the results are sobering. According to data from vegetarian restaurant guide Happy Cow, New York has seen the most closures, going from 173 vegan restaurants in 2022 to 132 today.
That's staggering.
It is. Portland, Oregon went from 61 to 46 during the same time frame, while Los Angeles dropped from 61 to 48, a 21% decrease. These closings reflect a trend, and the U.S. no longer leads the world in vegan-friendly cities. Once global destinations for meat-free dining, Portland and Los Angeles now trail London, Berlin, Barcelona, and Amsterdam. What happened?
What indeed?
Happy Cow's founder, Eric Brent, cites the usual suspects impacting the entire food and beverage industry: high rents, increasing food costs, low profit margins, pandemic-related challenges such as staffing and supply chain issues, and a sharp decline in guests. And while there's no definitive data on how many plant-based restaurants have shuttered as a result of the pandemic, Brent puts it this way: 2023 was devastating for vegan restaurants. Heartbreaking is the word Tamira Dyson uses. The solely vegan owner-chef had opened her Oakland restaurant in 2009 with little money, no investors, no loans, and no prior restaurant experience. Just a work ethic and the belief I had something to offer the world, she says. But once word got out about Solely Vegan's plant-based Creole menu, it became destination dining, with people flocking from all corners of the country for the hot links and fun vibe. Saturday nights, we had people spilling out of our location, Dyson recalls, wistful. But one Saturday in 2020, right before California's COVID lockdown, by 8 p.m., it was crickets. I knew things were about to go very wrong. Like most other restaurants, Solely Vegan made a pandemic pivot, doing a quick switch to takeout only. But as COVID continued, Oakland crime surged. The restaurant was robbed again and again. Even with hired security, Dyson couldn't guarantee safety for staff or for guests. Folks had their cars broken into while they were inside eating. They stopped showing up, not willing to risk vandalism and theft. With financial woes mounting, Dyson, the chef who won Beat Bobby Flay, realized she had been beaten. She took a deep breath and decided to close Solely Vegan.
Yeah, these restaurants, that were open 20, 30 years. So, it's not that they don't know what they're doing, Mm-hmm. It's not bad business practices.
Yeah. Unlike Dyson, Frederick Guerrero comes from a restaurant family. He knows running a restaurant has always been a high wire act, even without the impacts of COVID and a down economy. Hulu's hit show The Bear is only a click or two more extreme than reality. Mental health issues, plumbing disasters, AWOL product delivery, and rapid staff turnover is just an average day. Guerrero grew up working in his father's Los Angeles burger restaurant, the Oinkster. The name says it all. Not vegan. So one may be surprised that Guerrero and his brother Max have been meat-free for most of their lives. When they opened the cheekily named Burger Lords in 2015, they wanted to show the power of plant-based. They took the standard burger joint approach, a menu filled with different iterations of beef burgers plus one half-hearted veggie burger option, and flipped it. Burger Lords offered a dazzling array of burgers made with house-made vegan patties, crafted daily from a proprietary recipe comprising close to 36 whole foods, and one lone beef burger for those who wanted it. 5 years later, when the pandemic struck and turned the world upside down, the Guerrero brothers saw an opportunity to be bold. They revamped Burger Lords, making it totally vegan. They added fun new menu items like a buffalo ranch tofu burger, plant-based nuggets, and a slew of rotating vegan specials, everything made in-house. The first 3 days, they sold out of everything. and then they didn't. Sales took a nosedive and stayed that way for 3 years. A vegan Burger Lords reflected Guerrero's ethos, but we lost a lot of customers. It wasn't the restaurant they enjoyed pre-COVID. We went from thriving to hanging on by a thread. Like Dyson, Guerrero made a tough choice. But rather than closing Burger Lords, he reluctantly put meat back on the menu. So did Molly Engelhart of Sage in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
This spring, Engelhart made national headlines when she transformed the nationally acclaimed Sage Vegan Bistro into Sage Regenerative Kitchen and Brewery, an omnivorous restaurant wholeheartedly celebrating regenerative farming and featuring menu items like wild boar pepperoni pizza and pasture-raised shredded chicken tacos.
Yeah, we did a show surrounding that transition a number of episodes back.
Guerrero questioned her choice and how she presented it, but his heart goes out to her for the backlash she received from the vegan community. He remembers getting it too. A so-called compassionate group of people turned nasty real fast, he says. People were telling me to go kill myself.
Oh my God.
Okay, so
that's extreme.
Can we say that is never appropriate?
Yeah. And anybody that would tell him that, they're not vegan.
No,
right?
absolutely not.
I mean, I understand if you're vegan for the animals, but number one, Burger Lords never touted themselves as a vegan for the animals kind of restaurant.
No, they did not.
Right? That's what our problem was with Molly Engelhart and Sage.
Yeah.
Because she did tout herself as a place that was vegan for the animals.
Yes.
And then did a complete 360 and started touting all the benefits of regenerative animal farming.
Sure.
So that there I can understand why people protested outside of her restaurant. I still don't condone anybody telling anyone to go kill themselves.
No. That
is completely uncalled for.
And from Guerrero's point of view, Burger Lords is an independent business. It's his livelihood. It's not like someone's going to bail him out. It's just him. As he says, if this fails, I go work at McDonald's. But things never turned around. And this spring, instead of closing and heading to the Golden Arches, he sold Burger Lords, negotiating so that most longtime staff could continue under new ownership. Today, it's a high-end version of a traditional burger joint featuring $25 grass-fed smash burger combos and beef tallow fries. But Guerrero's quick to point out the new business offers a house-made vegan patty as good as Burger Lord's original. Almost.
I can respect that he just sold the business off. As hard as that is for a business owner, I'm sure, I would say that is the way to go. Especially if putting meat back on your menu is going against your own ethics. If that's the case, then yeah, just sell the business off and do something else.
Yes, absolutely. And we're not going to go through this whole article because we do have other things that we want to get to.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely put a link in the show notes to this article because it also gives the story of a Philadelphia restaurateur, Alice Lung, who had Soy Cafe, which was a 20-year-old establishment in Philadelphia. And then they also talk a bit about Solely Vegan's second life.
Yeah.
Which is really great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think, in conclusion, I think the article does kind of hint to the fact that the reason why not only vegan businesses, but a lot of businesses are struggling and closing right now is because people got used to not going out during the pandemic, and because people have decided that they don't want to spend the money to eat out.
Right.
And there is one of the business owners does have a quote in here where she says, "I understand you can't come every week. Food is expensive, but come when you can and tell people and tell your friends."
Yes.
And that's what we always tell people. You know, we also do not eat out every week.
No.
We cook at home most of the time.
That's right.
But we do try when we're out and about to support vegan restaurants as much as we possibly can.
And Guerrero takes Zhu's comment a step further. He says, you can't sit on the sidelines and criticize and say you want this restaurant to survive and then not go there.
Exactly.
That's what happened to us. People want it when it's convenient for them, but the business wasn't there. So if you care about something, you have to go support it.
Yeah, you do. You have to support it. You have to support the small vegan businesses, restaurants, whatever the business is. You have to support small, local vegan businesses.
So we want to encourage all of you out there to go support your vegan businesses.
Yeah. Now, this next article is a little bit more of a serious note. This comes from the Marin Independent Journal, and the article is titled, Sonoma County Farm Animal Welfare Measures Face Backlash.
In Petaluma, hundreds of brown-bodied hens waddle around a large barn at Weber Family Farms. You provide them a stress-free environment with water, with food, with fresh air at all times, make them free of illness, and they're going to reward you, whether they're going to give you milk, eggs, or meat, owner Mike Weber said, proudly showing off his business, which has hundreds of thousands of chickens. But some animal rights advocates say such large farms like Weber's are a problem. Christina Garfinkel said she doesn't believe in confining tens of thousands of chickens in facilities that provide no access to the outdoors, and she argues that these massive operations are actually crowding out small egg and dairy farms and making it hard for them to stay in business. Garfinkel, lead organizer of the Coalition to End Factory Farming, has been campaigning for a ballot measure aimed at putting an end to large-scale confined animal agriculture in Sonoma County. Proponents say the move is about the humane treatment of animals, but critics contend it is a misguided effort that could harm local egg farming and dairies. Sonoma County residents will vote on the measure on November 5th. The proposal would require the county to phase out what federal authorities call concentrated animal feeding operations, or farms where large numbers of animals are kept in a confined setting. The measure is supported by animal rights activists, but it also has stoked a tremendous backlash, with residents posting massive numbers of signs along roads, in front yards, and on farmland opposing Measure J. Weber said California already has strict rules about how animals must be treated, with farmers required to keep records, have annual inspections, and provide space for livestock. He believes the measure would put his family's farm, one of a series of Sonoma County farms that were walloped last year by avian influenza, out of business. His commercial egg farm produces organic and conventional eggs as well as organic fertilizers. To come out with a blanket statement that all animal agriculture is bad, therefore it's our mission to get rid of it, is absolutely unreasonable. And it's not American at all, he said.
It's not American. It's not completely unreasonable because all animal agriculture is bad.
Garfinkel said 21 large-scale farms would be affected by the measure and would be given time to downsize their operations. It just impacts the largest, most destructive farms, she said of the measure. In 2018, Californians overwhelmingly voted for a statewide ballot measure requiring that all eggs in the state come from cage-free hens. The nation's most populous state had already previously voted for another measure to enhance the standards for raising such animals. Kathy Cullen, who runs a farm animal sanctuary, said she opposes confining animals for any reason. But Cullen said proponents aren't trying to shut down all farms, but rather asking them to change, and that the measure has helped create more awareness about farm animal welfare. Farmers feel the measure has created awareness, too, about the challenges they face, said Dana Girardelli, executive director of the Sonoma County Farm Bureau. Many local communities oppose the measure in a county that has a long agricultural history and had more than 3,000 farms in 2022, according to national agricultural statistics. The county is especially known for wine grape growing, but it also has dairies and poultry farms, as well as farms that grow vegetables and apples. If we can find a silver lining to a certain degree, it's bringing the community together, Ghirardelli said.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in Sonoma County, I would definitely be voting for this proposal. But I do understand where the farming community is coming from. They look at it as like, oh, they just want to shut down all the farms. But it's obvious that we don't want to shut down all the farms. And you can't just say there are laws to protect the animals because those laws are not enforced. That's the problem.
Yes.
If the laws on the books now were enforced, most of these farms would be shut down.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Or if not shut down, their operations would need to alter quite a bit. They'd need to change.
They would. And a lot of that change would be the number of animals that they have. And if you listened to last week's episode when we were talking about dairy farming and how these dairy farms were not allowing inspectors to come onto their property to count how many cows they had on their property because they're only allowed to have a certain number.
Right.
And then they just walked away when they wouldn't allow them access.
Yeah.
So the problem is, like I said last week, that these laws have no teeth and they're not enforcing them. More serious measures need to be taken, like what's happening in Sonoma County.
It certainly appears that way.
We'll keep our eyes on that come November.
Certainly will. That's right. Only a few weeks away is Election Day.
And our next story from our vegan news is a story that comes from WDWNT.com,
which is Walt Disney World News Today.
It is. Animal rights activist Rick O'Barry calls on Disney to give dolphins at Epcot a proper retirement. Now, maybe you've heard about these dolphins that Disney has and the fact that animal rights activists are trying to get these dolphins liberated.
Animal rights activist Rick O'Barry has posted an open letter to Disney executives asking for a proper retirement for the dolphins set to be relocated from the seas at Epcot. The letter was shared as a blog post on the website of Dolphin Project, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the welfare and protection of dolphins worldwide. Addressed to Jeff Vail, president of Walt Disney World Resort, Josh D'Amaro, chairman of Disney Experiences, and Thomas Maslam, president of New Experiences Portfolio and Disney Signature Experiences, the letter reads as follows. For decades, Disney has been a pioneer of imagination, creativity, and innovation. From your timeless films to your unforgettable theme park experiences, you've inspired generations to dream big, care for the world around them, and embrace progress. One of the areas where Disney has consistently excelled is encouraging people, particularly children, to fall in love with the ocean and all its inhabitants through films like The Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo, and Moana. These films have nurtured a deep appreciation and respect for the wonders of marine life in the hearts of children and adults alike. With this in mind, we urge you to take an important step toward embracing the values you've inspired in millions of individuals by offering a proper retirement to the dolphins currently living at Epcot, rather than relocating them to another marine park by sending them to Gulfarium Marine Adventure Park. Gulfarium, since it opened its doors, has failed to report the deaths of at least 6 dolphins and has one of the highest death rates of any dolphinarium in the United States. We firmly believe moving them there is the wrong choice for their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. In contrast, a sanctuary would provide the dolphins with a true retirement where they could live out the rest of their lives in a peaceful environment and provide a safe space where they could engage in behaviors more attuned with their natural instincts. Since 2019, 13-year-old Izzy McGilly started Save the Disney Dolphins, a movement to end Disney's captive marine mammal programs. In 2022, SAD, together with Dolphin Project, launched a petition to ask that the captive dolphins at Epcot be retired, a petition which has gained more than 25,000 signatures. While we recognize you've taken steps to remove them from your attractions, a change of location is not a change towards progress. Walt Disney himself was known for his progressive ideas and forward-looking vision. His legacy of inspiring wonder and stewardship towards the environment lives on through Disney's influence today. By choosing to retire the Epcot dolphins to a sanctuary, Disney would not only honor the mammals' well-being, but also make a bold, pioneering statement that will be remembered as a turning point in marine conservation. By combining Disney's resources with Dolphin Project's knowledge, passion, and expertise, together we can create a sanctuary that gives the dolphins a second chance at life. Created by Dolphin Project, the Uma Lumba Rehabilitation, Release, and Retirement Center in West Bali, Indonesia, is the first and only permanent dolphin rehabilitation, release, and retirement facility for formerly performing dolphins. It is the gold standard for dolphin care and offers a model that can be replicated in other parts of the world. Together, we can set a powerful example of what true conservation looks like, and after years of performing for tourists, give the Epcot dolphins a retirement that they deserve. With kind regards, Richard O'Barry, founder-director, Dolphin Project. The open letter is in reference to recent news that the 3 male dolphins currently residing at the Seas in Epcot will be relocated to Gulfarium Marine Adventure Park in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, later this month. According to Disney, the decision came after a comprehensive evaluation as to what is best for these dolphins as infrastructure work progresses at the Seas. Guests are able to see the dolphins on the 2-hour backstage tour, Dolphins in Depth, until the offering is discontinued on October 20th, 2024. Attached to the letter is a petition via Action Network, sponsored by Dolphin Project, to save the Disney dolphins. At the time of publishing, 26,385 signatures have been collected.
Yeah, just a little background on Rick O'Barry. He's the founder and director of Dolphin Project. He began his career in the 1960s as the dolphin trainer on the American TV series Flipper. Do you remember Flipper?
I do remember Flipper.
But went into animal activism when Kathy the dolphin, who played Flipper the most, died in his arms.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Yeah. Together, O'Barry and Dolphin Project seek to educate the public about dolphin captivity and, when possible, retire or release captive dolphins. I don't work for Disney, but obviously, but if
Really? You don't?
if I had read this letter and I had anything to do with where these dolphins go, I would 100% take him up on this.
Absolutely.
These dolphins are just completely being exploited. If you go to Disney, do not go to this dolphin experience. Do not, because it is completely just animal exploitation.
Yes, it is.
And we don't want them sent to this other place where they will still be exploited.
That's right.
On a daily
basis. We would much rather see them sent to Indonesia.
Yeah, this place in Indonesia sounds like a dream. So I really hope that Disney takes his words to heart and does the right thing. And we'll be following this story and we'll keep you updated. Yeah, so apparently the problem is Disney doesn't want to retire the dolphins. They're just in the way right now. They're in the way of progress.
Right, because there are some structural changes happening.
Yeah. But they're keeping the Dolphins in Depth thing open for as long as they possibly can, so they can exploit them for as long as they possibly can until October 20th. So I'll include a link to this petition. Please click that link and sign it.
And finally, we take a look at how Denver could become the first city to ban slaughterhouses. This is coming to us from Sentient Media and was written by Grace Hussein. Activists got a slaughterhouse moratorium on Denver's ballot. But what are its chances? The largest lamb slaughterhouse in the country is located in the Globeville neighborhood of Denver, Colorado. Each year, up to 500,000 young sheep are carted into the facility and leave as packaged meat. Now, Denver is poised to be the first city in the nation to ban slaughterhouses like this one. Thanks to a campaign spearheaded by Pro Animal Future, a nonprofit organization with tactics backed by research, voters will decide this November whether to allow the facility to continue operations. Its success or failure could have broad implications for the animal rights movement. While it's certainly not the first time that animal advocates have sought to leverage ballot initiatives, there's currently also an initiative to ban factory farms from Sonoma County, California. The Denver campaign could serve as a blueprint for future campaigns in cities across the country. Pro Animal Future was started to test out the research generated by their sister organization, Pax Fauna. That research suggested that animal rights activists could garner success by shifting the framing of their work to ask for people's votes instead of personal dietary change, a finding that led to this and another ballot initiative in Denver. We had a lot of people sign these petitions, including the slaughterhouse petition, while eating animals. Aiden Kankyoku, who worked on the research and is now spearheading the campaign, tells Sentient, though the fate of the slaughterhouse still hangs in the balance, even getting the question on the ballot was an uphill climb. Kankyoku embarked on it in hopes of testing the findings of Pax Fauna's research. So far, those findings are holding up, which may have far-reaching implications for animal welfare groups. Here's why ballot measures may be more effective than advocating for dietary change. In 2023, Pax Fauna published research which found that calling meat out as unsustainable or cruel is not very effective for the average consumer, in part because it ignores the large role of corporations and policymakers and relies too heavily on changing personal choice. Instead, focusing on collective action and civic duty, via voting, for example, appears to be more effective. Those findings were based upon a series of focus groups, surveys, and interviews with over 200 participants, all of whom eat meat. After writing up and publishing their findings, their next steps were clear. The new grassroots framework they had designed needed to be tested. For that testing, they chose Denver. This is where we have the most progressive and liberal voters who are going to take the first step and set this precedent to say no to slaughterhouses. In November of last year, the team dropped off 10,488 signatures supporting a ballot initiative to ban slaughterhouses from the city, well above the 8,940 needed to get it on the ballot. Pro Animal Future ran a fur ban initiative alongside the slaughterhouse ban, which received 11,708 signatures and will also be appearing on ballots in November. Each of those signatures represents a conversation with a campaigner. What's so exciting about the ballot initiative approach is that we'd much rather be talking to voters than to a few city council members, says Kankyoku. Focusing on voters also means that even a loss is a win, in Kankyoku's eyes. If we focus all our attention on engaging with the public and connecting with local businesses and building a really strong community around this objective, even if the measure doesn't pass, we can still feel very confident that all of that work is setting us up to do better next time, whether it's the same policy or a different policy for the next campaign. Pro Animal Future's partner organization, Pax Fauna, is already gearing up to launch similar campaigns in cities across the country, starting with Portland. Even with the growing popularity of ballot initiatives as a means of activism, advocates are restricted to the cities and states that allow them. But with roughly 3/4 of cities allowing some form of citizen-supported legislation making, the opportunities for animal advocates are numerous.
I dig this trend.
Oh, I do too.
I dig this trend of putting things on ballot initiatives because, like this article states, because it does mean one-on-one conversations, right? Like every one of those signatures was a conversation about these issues. So it gets people thinking, right?
Yes, it really does.
And again, like the article says, it takes the what sometimes meat eaters perceive as blame. It takes that blame off of them.
That's right, because you're not making it about personal choice. You're not making it about, oh, well, meat eating is a bad thing. You eat meat, Therefore, there must be a connection that you are a bad person.
Right.
Now, we know that that's not true.
Right.
We can't categorize meat eaters as bad people.
Right.
That's just not reasonable. But to take the focus away from individual choice and put it on the big picture, on what these corporations, what these slaughterhouses are actually doing.
Yeah.
And asking people to decide whether or not they agree with those practices.
Yeah.
Not with whether or not they agree with eating meat.
Right. Yeah.
I think that could be a really effective tactic.
Yeah. I think so too. I like I said, I dig it.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
We're going to have to keep a close eye on this.
Yeah, we are going to have to keep a close eye on this, and I want to do some digging and find out what states allow these ballot initiatives, based off of public comment.
Yeah, and what the process is for that.
Yeah, because I think it is a pretty cool way to advocate and get people involved in the process.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So that's just some of the vegan news that's flying around the world right now. We, scoured the interwebs so that you didn't have to.
Indeed.
And so let's move on to our assignment restaurant SOS. This week's restaurant in our assignment restaurant SOS is Mono.
Mono is a Glasgow vegan eatery that was nominated by Joseph McGuinness. Mono opened in 2002, furnishing Glasgow with a unique and versatile space in which to eat, drink, and discover new music. Their aim is to provide a welcoming environment, quality food and drink, and an exciting range of events, all couched in an ethical and community-based context. Over their 20 years in business, they have developed a reputation for good beer, good vegan food, good gigs, and good times.
This place just looks cool. It just looks cool. Like the blurb said, it's a music venue. And they have vegan food, and it's a bar. I mean, it sounds like a really cool place to hang out, right? They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Sunday, they're open noon to 10 p.m. And we'll just take a little look here at their menu. When you pull up their website, there's like events and music, and we'll just click this link that says food and drink. Food served noon to 8:30 p.m. and drinks until later. It says all their food is made fresh on site and free from animal products. Kids options are available. It says they're a large venue with a reasonably small kitchen, so advanced booking is always advised. And during busy periods, please anticipate up to a 30-minute wait for your food. And I will wait for 30 minutes if the food is as good as these pictures look. They have nibbles. Their nibbles are, I just like saying nibbles.
Yep.
Gordal olives, Perella Gordal olives in a savory, spicy brine. Ooh, za'atar focaccia.
Yeah, I'd be all about the za'atar focaccia.
Yeah.
That would be seriously yummy. They also do hand-cut chips, which are, of course, fries.
Right.
Yes.
We are in Scotland here.
We are indeed in Scotland. For their starters, they've got a soup of the day. They've got a vegan haggis hash.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. I have never, ever been tempted to try haggis.
I tried haggis years and years and years ago at a Highland festival, and it's not for me.
No. And so I'm wondering, though, what a haggis hash, a vegan haggis hash.
Well, it says haggis
would be.
Haggis and smashed wee potatoes.
I love that the potatoes are wee.
Served with rocket, which we call
arugula,
peppercorn yogurt, onion frito, and mango chutney. I don't know, but it sounds delicious.
It really does.
I don't know what they make the haggis hash out of, but...
Well, I'm already sold on the Baja tofish tacos.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 soft shell tacos with tofish pieces, crema, fermented green chili, chopped salad, coriander, and pink onions. Bring that on.
They have a caponata.
They do have a caponata.
Calling to me, my grandmother used to make the most amazing caponata recipe, and it is delicious. I've made her recipe. So good. So good.
They've got a slow roasted tomato salad, which is served with cucumber, basil, rocket, and tahini dressing. That sounds wonderful. I would be all about that. And then they've got some lovely looking bowls.
Yeah.
The peanut noodle bowl. So we've got flat, wide rice noodles, pulled oyster mushrooms, broccoli, peppers, bok choy, and umami tofu in a spicy peanut sauce topped with sesame seeds, spring onion, and chili oil.
I was just talking yesterday to my nephew saying how much I love anything in a spicy peanut sauce.
And then this is where I would probably go, the shawarma salad bowl.
Yeah.
So house shawarma spiced seitan with mixed leaves, miso pickled cabbage, pink onions, dill pickles, green chili, tahini dressing, and warm Greek flatbread.
That also sounds fantastic.
Hello. Yes, that's like a dream meal
Yeah.
for me. And they also have some really wonderful looking mains, including a chana masala, a burger and chips. They also have a haggis burger and chips. Again, I don't know what a vegan haggis burger
I don't either.
would look like, taste like. I have not a clue.
It's their seitan burger topped with their vegan haggis, but I don't know what their vegan haggis is.
I don't either. It's a mystery.
I'm going to call them and find out.
Okay, go right ahead.
Not right now, but
They also do pizza. So they have several different pizza varieties. They've got a margarita, an artichoke pizza, a spicy sausage, and a mushroom. They have chip shop type stuff. So they're toe fish and chips, a pizza crunch, shawarma loaded fries, and souvlaki loaded fries. Oh, are you kidding me with that? Lemon, dill, and oregano spiced seitan with feta yogurt, tomato, cucumber, and red onion. So I might have to go with that.
This is an extensive menu. And just to go back to the Pizza Crunch, because apparently Pizza Crunch is a Scottish staple. And what it is it's a deep fried piece of pizza with fries on it. With hand cut well, they call them chips. Hand cut chips and pickled onion on a piece of deep fried pizza.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. But apparently it's a Scottish staple.
And there you go. And they've also got a few desserts. They've got a miso and sesame chocolate tart, which sounds lovely. A donut s'more, which is a toasted donut, torched marshmallows, fudge sauce, and vanilla ice cream. A Cranachan sundae. Oh, and this is where I would go. Vanilla ice cream, raspberry sauce, meringue, whiskey oats, and whipped cream.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And then they have sorbet.
Yeah, and just like most European countries, their menus are really, really well labeled as far as allergens go.
Yep.
So everything on the menu is marked, whether it's gluten-free, whether it has soy, whether it has sesame or tree nuts or peanuts or celery or mustard, or that it has any kind of sulfites in it.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
You don't have to ask because it's all on the menu. So good. I wish we were in Glasgow so we could check this place out.
So do I.
Yeah, so that is Mono Cafe Bar in Glasgow, Scotland. If you ever find yourself in Glasgow, Scotland, please do check it out. You could get a meal. You can hear some live music. It looks like an awesome, awesome place. So thank you so much, Joseph, for nominating Mono for our assignment restaurant SOS. And if you have a favorite vegan restaurant, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know what that restaurant is and let us know why you like them. It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Friends, it's happened. We've warned you for weeks, even months now. But our list of listener shout outs is now empty.
It is. Our listener shout out basket is completely empty at this point.
And so, for the first time in quite some time,
it's been a while.
There is no listener shout out.
There is not.
So we want to implore you, everyone out there.
Yes, if you are listening right now and you haven't told us that you're listening, send us an email at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Facebook or Instagram, or click the little link at the top of our show notes in your podcast app. Send us a text. And if you do use that text link, be sure to include your name and know that we cannot respond to those texts. It's a one-way sort of situation. But please, if you're listening, let us know you listen, because we want to shout you out.
Yeah, we do. And if you don't want to nominate yourself, I completely understand that. I'm not a self-nominating type of person either. I'm really not.
Yeah.
So nominate a friend, nominate a loved one. Yeah, nominate your favorite vegan.
Yeah. Or if someone close to you has a birthday coming up or an anniversary coming up and you would like us to shout that out,
Absolutely.
let us know.
We'll do that.
We will sing happy birthday. We will skip around the room.
And apologize in advance.
Right.
And hey, there's not going to be that many weeks to get that entry into the Meeson Chef Knife giveaway.
Yeah. Have we decided when we're doing the giveaway?
Well, we had a conversation about it not too long ago, and I was thinking maybe, just maybe, what if we did it as a homage to World Vegan Day, which is November 1st?
We could.
We could do that. Or we could wait November out and do it the first show of December.
Well, I would like to get a few more listeners in on that contest.
Oh, yeah.
My thinking is I would rather do it like the first week of December.
Okay, then.
So that's when we're going to do it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and it'll be really fun. I'm just going to do like a random, all of our listener shout out people will be assigned a number, and then I'm going to do a random number generator live on the podcast, and we'll choose a winner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, let's move on to our Vegan Org of the Week. This week's Vegan Org of the Week is Animal Outlook.
Now, we've spotlighted Animal Outlook in the past, but they definitely deserve a second shout out.
They do.
Animal Outlook is strategically challenging animal agribusiness through undercover investigations, legal advocacy, corporate and food system reform, and disseminating information about the many harms of animal agriculture, empowering everyone to choose vegan. Animal Outlook engages in a wide range of campaigns to promote compassion, including empowering everyone to stand up for animals every time they sit down to eat by choosing to leave animals off their plates. They empower people to choose vegan in order to take action for animals and helping humans and protecting the planet at the same time. To learn more about their work, go to animaloutlook.org.
And it's time to wrap this baby up. Per usual, I got a couple of calls to action for you. First of all, you already got your first call to action. If you're listening and you have not told us that you're listening so we can shout you out, do that. Also, if you would like to contact us and send us your favorite vegan recipes, I would like to make your vegan recipes and talk about them on the show. If there's things that we haven't been talking about that you wish we would talk about, if you listen to our show and go, oh, I wish they would, talk about this subject, or you heard something about an organization that we should be talking about, please let us know that. All that jazz. And please join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. We always put that link in our show notes, so click that link and join the Voter Hub. And last but not least, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube. And leave us a review and a rating if you want, because that helps us reach more people like you.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 161 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion. On the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We really do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our Vegan Kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.